There is someone in your life earning less than you, and they have more saved than you do. You've probably never said that out loud, but you have thought about it. Picture this: two people, same city, same dreams, but very different paychecks. Marcus makes $85,000 a year. He drives a nice car, lives in a decent apartment, eats out almost every night, and always looks like money. But every month, right around the 25th, something weird happens. His bank account starts whispering a number that makes no sense for someone earning what he earns. Then there's Dana. She's a dental assistant. She makes $38,000 a year. No fancy car, no designer anything. She packs her lunch. She clips coupons. And yet, Dana has $27,000 sitting in a high-yield savings account, a Roth IRA that's growing quietly in the background, and zero credit card debt. So here's the question that should be burning in your mind right now. How is that even possible? How does someone earning less than half of what Marcus makes end up with more financial security, more savings, and more peace of mind? That is exactly what this video is going to break down, and I promise you, by the end of this, something is going to click for you. Something that most people never figure out until it is way too late. My name is Ella, and welcome to Invest with Ella, where we turn complicated money topics into conversations that actually make sense. But before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. This channel is dedicated to breaking down money, wealth psychology, and financial freedom in a way that actually makes sense. No jargon, no boring lectures, just real talk about how money actually works. If that sounds like something you need in your life right now, and trust me, after this video, you will agree that you do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This is our very first video, and we are just getting started. You do not want to miss what is coming. All right, back to Marcus and Dana. Why people who earn less than you have more money in the bank. This is not a theory. This is not some motivational fluff. This is real. This is happening in neighborhoods all across America right now. And the reason it keeps happening has everything to do with psychology, specifically the psychology of how people think about money when they start earning more of it. Here's what most people believe about money. If I just earned more, I would be fine. Sound familiar? It is one of the most deeply held beliefs in America. We tell ourselves that the reason we are struggling is income. That if we could just land that promotion, get that raise, start that side hustle, everything would fall into place. And then the raise comes, and somehow, we are still broke. This is not an accident. It has a name. Economists and psychologists call it lifestyle inflation. But honestly, a better name for it might be the invisible thief. Because the moment your income goes up, your spending follows. Not because you are irresponsible, not because you are bad with money, but because your brain, your brilliant, pattern-seeking, status-aware human brain, convinces you that you have now earned the right to spend more. New income level, new lifestyle, new normal. And here is the dangerous part. It feels completely justified. Because you worked hard for that raise. You deserve a nicer apartment. You should be able to eat at better restaurants. You earned it. But while Marcus is out enjoying the fruits of his labor, Dana is doing something completely different with her $38,000. And that difference, that one shift in behavior, is the entire reason this story ends the way it does. Let me introduce you to a concept that will completely change how you look at your finances. It is called the savings gap, and it is not the gap between what you earn and what someone else earns. It is the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That is the only number that matters. Marcus earns $85,000, but after his rent, his car payment, his insurance, his subscriptions, his dining out, his weekend trips, and his credit card minimums, his savings gap is about $200 a month, on a good month. Dana earns $38,000, but she has structured her life intentionally, deliberately, so that her savings gap is $700 a month. Every single month, without fail. Now do the math with me. Over 3 years, Marcus has saved roughly $7,200. Over 3 years, Dana has saved roughly $25,200. Same 3 years. Different results. Not because of income, because of the gap. This is the part where most financial advice tells you to just spend less. But that is not helpful because the real problem is not spending. It is the psychology behind spending. Specifically, there are 3 psychological traps that hit higher earners harder than lower earners. And understanding them is how you break the cycle. Trap number 1. The identity spend here is something most people never talk about. When your income rises, your identity shifts. You start to see yourself differently. And with that new self-image comes a whole new set of things you feel you should have. A car that matches your title. A neighborhood that matches your salary. Clothes that match the level you feel you are operating at. Psychologists call this identity-based spending, and it is incredibly powerful because it does not feel like overspending. It feels like self-expression. Marcus does not feel like he is wasting money when he leases a BMW on an $85,000 salary. He feels like he is finally being who he is supposed to be. Dana, on the other hand, never had a high-income identity to maintain. So she never built her self-worth around what she owns. Her self-image is not tied to her car or her zip code. And that quiet freedom, it is worth thousands of dollars a year. Trap number 2, the comparison loop. Here is an uncomfortable truth. The more you earn, the more expensive your social circle tends to become. Marcus works in an office where happy hour means $18 cocktails, where vacations are to Cancun or Miami, where not joining the group dinner feels like falling behind. He is constantly surrounded by people at his income level, and human beings are wired to compare themselves to the people closest to them. This is called social reference spending, and it is one of the most powerful forces draining American bank accounts today. Dana's world is different. Not worse, different. Her friends are not competing over who has the newest phone or the biggest apartment. There is less invisible pressure to match a lifestyle she cannot sustain. The lesson here is not to cut off your high-earning friends. The lesson is to become aware of when you are spending money to belong rather than because you actually want what you are buying. Because there is a big difference between the two. Trap number 3, the "I'll save what's left" mistake. This is the biggest one. And almost everyone who struggles financially makes this mistake. The plan goes like this. Spend on everything you need, and then whatever is left at the end of the month, you save. Can you guess what is left at the end of the month? Nothing, because spending expands to fill available income. It just does. It is almost a law of nature. If the money is sitting in your checking account, it will get spent on something that seemed necessary or justified in the moment. Dana does not save what is left. The moment her paycheck hits, a fixed amount is automatically transferred to her savings account before she even sees it. She lives on what remains. Her savings are not an afterthought. They are the first line item. This one habit, saving first, spending second, is the single biggest behavioral difference between people who build wealth and people who wonder where their money went. Now here's the good news. Everything I just described, the identity spend, the comparison loop, the save what is left mistake, every single one of them is a behavior. And behaviors can be changed. Marcus does not need to take a pay cut to think like Dana. He does not need to sell his car or move into a studio apartment. What he needs to do is close the gap, deliberately, intentionally, starting today. That means automating savings before spending begins. It means identifying which of his expenses are buying him actual happiness and which ones are just buying him the appearance of status. It means stepping off the comparison loop, not permanently, but just long enough to ask, am I spending this money because I want to or because I feel like I should? It also means learning one fundamental principle of wealth building that Dana figured out early. It is not about how much you make. It is about the difference between what you make and what you keep. That gap, protected, grown, and invested consistently over time, is what turns into a down payment, into an emergency fund, into a retirement account, into generational wealth. If this video made you think differently about money, even just a little bit, I want you to do 2 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button. We are just getting started on this channel and we have a ton more coming. How to actually budget without hating your life, the psychology behind why people stay in debt, how to start investing even when you feel like you have nothing left over, and so much more. Second, share this video with one person in your life who needs to hear it. You know exactly who that person is. This kind of financial knowledge used to only exist in expensive books and overpriced courses. We are putting it out here for free because we genuinely believe that understanding how money works should not be a privilege. Marcus and Dana both want the same things: security, peace of mind, the freedom to make choices without being controlled by a bank account balance. The difference was never the paycheck. It was the understanding, the awareness, the decision to stop letting lifestyle, identity, and social pressure make financial decisions on their behalf. You now have that understanding too. The question is, what are you going to do with it? We will see you in the next one.